Under Plum Lake by Lionel Davidson. 23. The Timeless Caverns. You don't swim down, you take a lift. The lifts go direct from the jetties to the caverns. There are scores of caverns, all connected. They have another world there. It's a world of beautiful light. There's a sky and clouds, and some of the clouds almost bob on the ground. It's always spring or autumn according to the part you're in. They can go from spring to autumn, and then into spring again. They have fantastic scenery in the caverns. There are wide landscapes with valleys and meadows connected by winding paths with waterfalls and grottos. There are airlocks through all the caverns to keep the water out. The air you breathe is from the springs. It's a dreamland there. Fish swim in the air. You swim in it or float. You take a weight belt down with you, and to walk you have to pick up rocks and put them in your belt. The first thing you notice is that time is slowed. It's so slow it almost stops. You feel your ideas forming. You feel each thought happening. We came to a clearing, and I saw angels sitting on a cloud playing harps. Then I looked again, and it was giants playing guitars. They were lounging on the cloud with their guitars. I couldn't move away. I just wanted to stay and listen. The notes didn't fade in the air. The old notes hung in the air with the new ones. The music seemed to go on forever like bells, but Dido drew me on. He drew me off the trail, up a hillside. We floated up, we floated into a grotto, and waded ourselves, and drank from the pool there. He began telling me things without speaking. Everything got slower. His thoughts got slower. They were so slow, so simple, I found myself looking all over the thoughts and examining them. He showed me Egon and other worlds, and we drank more from the pool. Time practically stopped. There was so much time it seemed limitless. Every moment came slowly like a huge landscape, and in every part of it, something was happening. I saw all history. I saw the distant past. I saw the world as one continent, its beautiful scenery, its glimmering cities, its soundless rockets speeding between cities and the stars. Then he showed me the present, and the people in the world above, huddled in their mountains and worrying. They worried about everything, the cost of things, their health, the danger of attack by other people. It was the present, but it was so crude and primitive it looked remoter than the past. He brought it closer for me, and I saw myself being born. I saw myself as a baby. I saw everything I'd ever done. I've no time to put it now. They stopped time there, so I couldn't tell it was passing, but he said it was anyway, and we had to move. We moved to spring. It's autumn in the grottos, and he told me the reason for the caverns. You stop your life there. You stop it where you want. You enter your mind and look at all you've ever done. In autumn, you do it to see where your life has reached and find out what you missed, because it's all there, even things you didn't notice at the time. And in spring, you do it for fun because everything is new again. Every sensation in the world becomes new. All the colors, the smells, the tastes, everything you ever felt, you feel for the first time again. It's lemon and primrose. The light in spring. I nearly went out of my mind in spring. We were in meadows sparkling with flowers. We were nosing through trees heavy with blossom. We were jumping, flying, rolling everywhere. And my senses reeled. I felt I'd been given the world to play in. I felt I'd been given my body as a present. I couldn't believe I owned my body. It seemed a fantastic thing to own. You could do so much and feel so much, and every part of it was marvelous. The whole world was marvelous. I couldn't take in enough of it. I couldn't breathe enough, or see or smell or hear enough. But he kept drawing me on. He said there was so much to do and not much time to do it now. We did the jubal racing and fishing. We went out of the caverns to the lake and then back in, and I learnt the lot. First, the jubals. A jubal is a shark, a racing shark, and you ride it. Then fishing. In fishing, you don't catch fish, you become a fish. It's unbelievable. But even before that, there was him. He'd changed toward me. He'd changed since he thought he'd ended my life and felt my pain. Before, he'd treated me like a pet, like something to show off, but now he seemed to love me. It's hard to explain it. I don't understand it. But he wouldn't leave me for a moment. He kept looking at me, and I felt him thinking my thoughts. And I suddenly realized something else. I saw that though he acted like a kid and could feel like a kid, he was old. He was a very old man. He was older than my grandparents, older than anyone I knew or had ever heard of. He was looking after me. He wouldn't let me go in for the jubal racing, so he didn't himself. He just watched, and I saw why he'd stopped me. They do it in the pure spring water. They have a race course that twists and turns, and it's full of bubbling water. The sharks go crazy in it. They're trapped into 5 separate pens where the riders are lowered into the saddles and strapped on. Then the traps are raised and the sharks take off. They take off like an explosion, and until the first bend, you can't even see them. All you see is water flying, with something like 5 torpedoes in front. Then at the bend, the course narrows, so that they can't go round in a line, and the tricks start. A shark is so fast and powerful it reacts like lightning in any water, but in spring water, it's dynamite. All you could see was exploding water in torpedo shapes with riders bent flat over them. The riders were communicating with the sharks all the time, getting them to leap or dive or even twist round to block the other riders. And the orders had to be right first time, for the sharks obeyed immediately, giving no chance for a change of mind. They went hurtling round the bend, underwater or on it or even out of it, and hit the next wide stretch, and a fanatic struggle started. The obstacles began here, tunnels and walls of rock that had to be leapt, and waterfalls that had to be dived. The sharks could go as fast as each other, so it wasn't just a battle of speed. It was a battle of wits and of nerve. We were on a platform over the course, so we could see the whole thing, and I saw him jumping and twitching and clenching his fists, and I knew he wanted to race himself. So I told him to do it, but he said he wouldn't. He said we'd go fishing now. We got our fish suits. They have them in all sizes and floated horizontally while they fitted. They fit them very tightly. They fit gloves on your fingers and on your toes. They fit you into the exact shape of the suit, with every part of you in contact with it. It's a suit the shape of a fish, with a skin 1/4 of an inch thick that has all the equipment. It has everything a fish has. It has scales and gills and fins and a tail, and every movement you make is translated into the movement a fish makes. The gills open and shut and let the water flow, and the equipment takes the air from it for you to breathe. You don't breathe a special way like in a mask, you just breathe. He gave me a practice to see I'd got it, and we floated around a while in the air. Then he led me the way to an airlock, and we went through to the bottom of the lake. I thought I had to be dreaming. It was totally incredible. It was like purple glass. It was like a purple glass lens. It was so clear I could see all 12 miles of it from one end to the other. I could see right up in the sky with the skydivers circling high above. Even stranger, I could see both sides of me at once. I could see like a fish. I was a fish. Right away, I was acting like a fish. I was making all the darting movements a fish makes. Every tiny movement of mine was converted into the powerful muscular motion of a fish. I could feel fish communicating all around me. I could feel Dido communicating with them. Everything came clear through the suit. I heard him laughing, and he yelled, "Come on!" and did a streak up the lake. I streaked up it with him. I did a streak about 3 miles without any feeling of tiredness, and only stopped then because I couldn't stop laughing. It's the gas. You feel crazy. You feel totally unreal. The world under the lake is round as a goldfish bowl, and you can see everything at once. I heard him laughing, and he yelled, "Come on!" and did a flying in water, doing whatever I wanted without effort. And all my life was with me, all the moments that had happened, and all the moments happening now, and every one of them seemed magic. I had a dizzy feeling I was seeing it for the first time, that all my life had been a game, and I'd been playing it without knowing. A school of fish had streaked up with us, and they began playing with us, but we didn't seem to have done it more than a few minutes when he said we had to go. He said the gas was deceiving me, and that we'd done it for hours, and now there was hardly any time left at all. He said we'd return to the caverns, and he'd tell me everything now, and maybe I'd understand. So he did, and he told me. And I wish he hadn't now. I wish I hadn't heard it. And that's the end of part 23.